What's up, world? It's your boy Tommy Malv, and I just came because at this point, I usually don't even really pay attention to the Olympics because it's pretty shitty most of the time outside of the track and field. Most of the stuff USA wins because no other sport can really pay their athletes to just do one sport year round. So, it's like you're playing, like, you got like, MLS or women's soccer. Our women's soccer team pretty much can be paid, even though they bitch about how much they get paid way more than all the other women's soccer players. So our women's soccer team wins a lot of time because they can practice year round, and a lot of those other girls got to get jobs, and they also play for other teams, so they don't really care so much. So it's like you got to be very careful about the women's soccer league. Watching soccer, gymnastics. Gymnastics is different. We're just better. I just don't give a shit about gymnastics, so it really doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, my point, this is the point I'm making. I don't care about the Olympics usually, so I usually don't comment on it. But it's really been pissing me off, the stupidity that goes into analyzing sports, especially basketball. I mean, when I turn on TV and they're saying, USA's men's teams, the world is catching up. Oh, you out here freaking! The world is not catching up. Okay, you have one star in the NBA. I mean, well, two if you count Giannis. Two stars that are like big time, right? Everybody, all the rest of them are American born. You got Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Two. It's like 60 other hop and like if you want to throw Luka in there in the top 10, I don't put Luka in my top 10. I put Luka maybe like in my top 15. Giannis I will put in my top from 5 to 10 if. I don't really rank Giannis or Luka that high, but I think that they're in at least, Giannis is at least in the top 10. But I mean, you look at the rest of the 20 other players, they're all American-born players. So that's the first stupid thing, that the world is catching up. If the world is catching up, how come half of them who come over here don't play well in the NBA? No, it's the international play that is different than the way that they play in the NBA. And it's harsher. No, it's not. One of the problems with the NBA had in playing international was because it was so soft. They call fouls that they don't call in the NBA. So yes, the NBA has become more of a shooter league, which is a problem to an extent because the NBA has turned into such a shooter league. It relies heavily on taking shots, but because the Europeans don't do that same thing of like you get being able to go up and go down, and all the things that the NBA did, so that shooters or white players, I like to say, can compete. In doing that, they ended up making it so that our players became more shooters. Now the best players in the league are shooters because it's the same reason why the quarterback is so they tried to make the rules in the NFL to surround the quarterback. Any position, anything that a white person does better, the powers that be will try to make it so that it's easier. That's why you have all these white players who are starting to become they're still not the best players, but they're more high profile white players in the NBA now than they were before, because now because of the rule change, they made it so that you can, basically it's a shooters league, or they're trying to make it a shooter league. They call more fouls for shooters. They all their rules have been introduced to protect shooters, not slashers, not athletic people, but the difference is that athletic people can adapt. So the league doesn't have to be made for them. If it's hard to do this, they'll just learn to do that. So it's not so much that they made it so that athletic players can't play. It's just that it's become way more of a daunting task for a slasher to compete. A shooter just has to get open, right? A slasher has to get around people. And when you first instituted the zone, they're very lazy about calling that 3-second violation on that 3 in the key. So it's and we didn't talk about all the shooting things, shooting fouls, right? And if you're a shooter, I think you're way more likely to get a call even when you are going to the rim than a slasher is. A Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, you know what I'm saying, DeMar DeRozan, those type of guys, it's harder for them to average high because those type of guys are not getting the calls. They're trying. It seems to me like they're trying to run athletic guys out of the league so that the jump shooters can compete. And in doing so, you created this soft that what appears to be a softer league, but it's not. It's just more of a European league. Because they're trying to make the European. They're trying to make white players. They're trying to create white players. I mean, an atmosphere of white players to thrive. But there are great white players. Your Larry Bird type of player. The problem is that a lot of them are not given the same opportunities that the European players are given, right? And then when I say that, this is what I mean. A lot of these GMs are just prejudiced by nature, right? Even towards white people. So when they pick a white dude, if they want to put their franchise on a white dude, it got to be a European white dude. A Tyler Hero could be just as, in my opinion, Tyler Hero could be just as good as Luka Doncic. Different situation is Tyler Hero went to the Heat, in which there are already big dogs there. So he has to play a specific role. It's the same type of feel like I feel like Kyle Kuzma going through right now. You have to find your role because it's really not painted out for you. But because Tyler Hero's American born, they're not going to try to surround him with talent. They're not gonna people. Yeah, teams are interested, but they're not interested in Tyler Hero being the star of their team. They're interested in Tyler Hero being a cog on their team, right? The American-born players are covered with this stigma, and it is annoying as hell to watch these players that are great players, but because they're born in America, somehow they're not allowed to be great. These are people been playing with black players, black American players their entire life, right? So they've already adapted, and then you bring in these European players who are used to playing in the European league. Then they have to, like, you look at somebody like Porzingis. Porzingis is extremely skilled, but he's never been really that tough. So his problem a lot of times he keeps getting hurt, and B, even when he plays, he doesn't play. He plays soft. That has not changed. All these European players play soft. I mean, you can make the argument too is that Giannis plays very soft. He's more of a finesse. He's not Shaq. He's not outpowering people. Most of the time he's going around them. He's just very long. So he's able to get around people. Luka Doncic is not a tough. One of the biggest thing about Luka Doncic is he's not tough. It's easy to try to bully him, even though they're calling every damn time you breathe on him. I'm not trying to undercut how good of a player Luka Doncic is. Luka Doncic is a great player. I did not think he was going to be a great player. To this day, every time I watch him, I cannot understand why he's so good. He is one of the most crafty. His shot is low. He barely jumps when he shoots. It is crazy to me how he's able to be good with the limitations he has. But like I said, I don't know. Maybe you need to watch film on him. I don't know. But to me, the kid is good, and I can't really put a finger on it. I don't know what he's doing, but whatever he's doing, he's good at it. And when you look at a guy like Luka, you like, man, like this guy really just understands the game. So I'm not trying to undercut Luka's talent. What I'm trying to say is that the NBA realized what they have in Luka. So now it's like he's great, and then it makes him overly great because now the NBA is starting to do what the NBA does for their star players. So he's good. I mean, and like I said before, yeah, they know to rough him up. So the NBA is making sure that they don't do that. You know what I mean? So, but they know that you gotta rough him up. But Luka's mentally strong. Even though he doesn't play tough, he's still mentally tough. Like, you're not gonna break Luka like that. So, but Porzingis you can. Giannis, you can get in their head at times. Even though Giannis, they say Giannis doesn't care about how bad he looks. I don't think he cares about how bad he looks, but I think he does allow people to get in his head in order to affect the way he plays. So this whole mindset that the Europeans are now so much stronger and tougher than it, man, please. They are not. I mean, if you put Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Paul George, I don't know if Joel Embiid, I think Joel Embiid is American, but he may not be. But all these players, these tougher players, the Aitons and the, you know, and the Drummonds and all these bigger, stronger guys that would play more of a physical game into the Olympics, it would be a completely different story. But none of those guys are playing, right? They have none of those guys. Bam Adebayo is a 4 masquerading as a 5, and so is Draymond Green, and those are the only 2 5s they got on the team. Kevin Love left. He was more of a banger, but he's old and long in the tooth too. They have one all-star starter on the entire league. I mean, the entire roster. One all-star starter, Kevin Durant. All the rest of them are not even all-star starters. So to sit up here and try to act like this is some barometer to the world is catching up. Yeah, when the NBA sends like their worst, yeah, they're catching up to the second tier NBA guys who have never played together and are being thrown together. Yeah, you can throw Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, and just throw them out there without Chris Paul, them without ever practicing, because these are veterans who are star players. You got Zach LaVine, Tatum. I mean, these guys have never played together. You know what I mean? You got Damian Lillard. You got KD's like literally the only incumbent guy that's always there. Everybody else is just normal guys. I mean, they're great players, but it's like their first or second time playing. Mostly it's their first time. So this whole mindset that the NBA, the world is catching up to the NBA, that's just a stupid narrative that stupid people push so that they can have something to write about. I'm starting to get to a point where I cannot stand writers. It's like they don't care about truth. They care about what is a good story. And then they create these bullshit stories that they know are not true. And then you go online, all you see is these people, Europe, oh, maybe the NBA isn't the best league in the world. Are you fucking retarded? You realize the best 2 players on your team are like bottom tier NBA players, right? If they're so damn great, why aren't they better in the NBA? Because they're playing against a team that has never played together before. Bunch of guys being pushed into roles they're not normally in. So, yes, it's a huge thing, and yeah, the NBA has got to play better. Particularly shooting the ball. I mean, that makes no damn sense. It makes no damn sense for you to fill your team with a bunch of shooters and y'all just clanking everything, because they got to get used to the size of the way the rim is, the way the proportions of the European goals are different than America. So especially if you're somebody who's a rhythm shooter. People don't understand, when you are a shooter, it's all about muscle memory. It's about catching it and releasing it at the same point. Now you change the arc of the basket. You change the way the basket is. If anybody's ever shot on a double-sided rim, I mean a double tier rim, you realize what I'm talking about. It's completely different. You have so many balls that will hit the inside of the rim because the rim has gotten this much bigger around. You know what I'm saying? It's clanging, clank. You're like, what in the world is going on? Because you got a double-sided rim. Now your shots that was going through and hitting me no resistance now keeps meeting the back of the rim, and it keeps popping it back out. And it happens all the time. And that's the same thing NBA has to get used to. So when you change the distance in certain parts of the court, it is very hard for a guy who's been his entire life been just able to just flick it here, and now they're having to hold it just a little longer to get a little more power on it, or take a little power off, so they're having to release it a little earlier. It's a hard thing to get used to. So you got a bunch of shooters too. These guys are shooters. So now they're one thing that they do well, they have to adjust to do it well. And that's not doing any the United States any favors. Everybody said Kevin Durant is a terrible leader. I don't know how true that is. He does seem like it. I mean, getting in a fight with Bam Adebayo when the guy clearly was just trying to keep it. He tried to say, "Oh, he can't take a joke." No, that guy tried to joke with you, KD. You can see when he got the ball, Bam was still joking. KD was serious. That's why Bam was like, "Bro, you ain't gotta snatch the ball from me, though." You know what I'm saying? You taking this a more personal than it was. I didn't mean that. Dame got your ball, and you can see from the thing. Dame and Lillard did take his ball, but it was just confusion. You know what I'm saying? It was confusing because Dame probably thought there was a bunch of ball bounce, so he just grabbed one. You know what I'm saying? KD would have to say was, "Hey, Dame, that's mine." Dame and Lillard probably would just toss it and look for another one. But because KD waited so long to say anything, nobody really noticed. So when he finally said something, he was like, "Oh no, Dame got your ball." And then he looked at him and he was like, "That's my ball." And Bam was like, "No, dude. I saw the same thing that Bam saw. You can clearly see the ball hit the ground, and it bounces left. Bam lets it go, and Dame picks it up. So Bam was right. He did not take KD's ball, but KD thought he took Bam's ball. And so he's making this big deal over it. Terrible leadership skills, because you're creating a situation in which there's no bonding going on, right? This guy Bam Adebayo probably is so uncomfortable. The whole situation is uncomfortable now because what? Because somebody didn't pass you a ball back. If that is your leadership skills, Kevin, come on, dude. Like, it's just not worth that. You just created this, yes, that's a sign of a terrible leader. Lose the battle to win the war, right? You could have took Bam to the side and been like, "Hey, Bam, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know it or not, but you know what I'm saying? You kind of took my ball when we're playing." Then Bam would have probably been like, "Oh no, I thought Dame had your ball." So when you didn't ask for it, I just figured you were done. "Oh, okay. Well, no, I was still shooting." I'm like, "Why you took my ball?" "I didn't know Dame took it." "Oh no, it ain't no big deal. 2 seconds on, done, over." Or make it a joke. Like, there's different types of leaders, right? You just make it a joke. You like, "Man, the man took my ball." "Oh no, man, Dame took your ball." That's what Bam thought he was doing. Bam thought he was joking. But even after Bam laughed about it, he was dead ass serious. And it's a serious sign of a person who is insecure. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like these players looking up to KD, and you come on there acting like an asshole over something that's that small. And then he turns around and he tries to take it to Twitter because people start pointing out that he was acting like a baby. And he turns around and said, "Nah, I wasn't acting no baby. He showed me no respect." So Bam like, "Okay, so you want to throw me under the bus? You could have said, 'Nah, it happens all the time. It happens, da da da.'" No, you threw the man directly under the bus. Now he has to defend himself. So he gonna come back and he gonna say, that's what he said, "F you. You don't know what you're talking about." And then you want to try and start coming at Dame. You try to come at me because I'm the young cat. But no, that's the way Bam took it. And that's a terrible way to take it when all you had to do is talk to the man. KD is I didn't want to say it at first, but now that I'm thinking about it, he is a terrible leader. You know what I'm saying? It's obvious he's a terrible leader. And the team is not galvanizing, it's not coming together because the leader is not a person that galvanizes people. He's just so used to his talent being able to overcome all the weaknesses on the team that he never learned to actually bring people together. He just figured he just go out and play. And I understand that. That's an okay trait to have, and you can go out there and ball, but you are the face of Team USA right now. And if you're the face of Team USA now, you can't be fighting over balls and then going on Twitter throwing your teammates under the bus. And now y'all done lost 3 out of y'all last 4 games. 4 out of y'all last 5 games or some shit like that. and you arguing over balls. Like at this point, things can be worse, in my opinion, for Kevin Durant. One, he shouldn't have gone on the freaking Team USA. He shouldn't have done it. Everybody's saying, well, nobody's doing it because they don't love America. Well, they probably don't love the fact that y'all hoping their league fails. Y'all are acting like dickheads. Yeah, I wouldn't have a lot of American pride too, because America seems to not have much pride in them, right? The overwhelming number of you racist dumbasses decide to take their stance on black people being and this is what gets me all the time. They love to bring up, well, white people are shot at a bigger clip. Once again, we can go over this a million times. We don't ever do that in any other stat, right? More white people flunk tests than black people. But you don't ever doubt that. Then it's about the percentage in comparison to the population, right? But every time it comes down to something that is bad and black people are saying this is unfair, we are being unfairly targeted, then it comes down to the overall gross number. But y'all make up like 5 times our population. Well, of course y'all gonna have more. But on the largest percentage of y'all don't get messed with by the police. The overwhelming percentage of you guys don't get messed with by police. And when we're talking about unarmed, it's not even gross. So imagine how prevalent that is. That even though we're 5 times y'all 5 times our population, we have more people killed innocently and unarmed. I'm not gonna argue about this, and I'm not gonna turn this into a soapbox. All I'm saying is the people who have the audacity now to look at the NBA and say, I don't watch the NBA because of this. Dude, you weren't first of all, you were watching the NBA because every time something happens, you seem to know about it. And 2, why are you, in their mind, like I said before, it's like those idiots that rushed the Capitol, those insurrectionists, morons that rushed the Capitol because they thought everybody agreed with them because social media has turned into this microcosm of society where people just hang around people who think like them and subscribe to people who think like them. So they think the overwhelming number of people think like they do, even though the vast majority of people are neutral in most things. They either don't think about them or don't care. You know what I mean? So most people don't give a shit about Black Lives Matter, right? You got a couple fringe idiots and a bunch of people that if you ask them about it, they would tell you, but as far as them giving a shit about it one way or another, most of them just don't care. Most people don't care about most of that shit, right? That is just the media perpetuating dumb shit, right? Because they turn into a 24-hour news cycle, so they got to keep putting out stories, and in order to do that, they got to find them. So they're protesting that majority of white people or conservatives are mad about Black Lives Matter when most don't even care. Most don't even think about Black Lives Matter or nor like it's like, okay, well, when we saw them, they put Black Lives Matter. Those same morons that are mad about them putting Black Lives Matter on the court are the same morons that never watched basketball to begin with. There were always too racist to ever watch basketball. Now they just have an angle to attack. So they're using that angle to attack, but for the most part, they never listen to the NBA anyways. They never watch the NBA. So you ask them to tell half of these guys. I saw a guy who does nothing but freaking Marvel videos talking about the NBA because they're just like those 24-hour news cycles now. Those same guys who used to have to run around and before they just making videos about nothing. Now they have to make anti-woke videos, right? So now because they have to make anti-woke videos, they spend all their days looking for something that they can report on that could give them views so that they can keep making money. So these people are fucking morons. When they go there thinking these people actually think about it. These people don't care about this shit. They're just doing it because they want 1 million views so they can get money. and you're sitting there eating it up because they're saying what they're saying. And I tell people this all the time: ain't nobody like no Donald Trump. Half of those people, if you add those Trump supporters, if you asked them about Donald Trump 2 years before he ever went over there, they would say they couldn't stand him. He was a shiesty New Yorker. He got on there and said some borderline, middle of the road racist junk. He got out there and had some borderline racist shit, and then all of a sudden, everybody, now they love him. Not because his policies, not because of his personality, his moral. They like him because he said borderline racist shit. Right? People keep trying to say, how can you like him? That's why they like him. They like him because he said borderline racist shit. So not that they're racist, but they resonate with that. They resonate, and the thing that they hate most about America is they think everybody is too sensitive. But they're the most sensitive. But they're the most sensitive motherfuckers on the planet. But what they hate about America is America's too sensitive. Yet these people comb the web looking for the slightest criticism of white people, and then do a 3-hour video on it. But you're sensitive. Like, stop it, man. All these you people need to stop watching these news outlets. All they do is feed their audience. Whether it's MSNBC, Fox News, Breitbart, no matter where you want to go, all these places just feed an audience. They don't report news like we used to get when we used to watch CNN when I was growing up. It's not, rarely did the newscasters even really give their opinion. They would just report blankly, this is what happened, this is what we know, this is what they think will happen. They didn't even add, nobody cared to know what they thought about it, because once people heard the news, they would have their own conversations about it. But now, these guys will not report a story if it does not fit their audience's demographics opinion. Right? So if something is blatantly wrong, they won't report it on their stuff. So because it goes against what their audience wants to believe. So they won't report it. But then the other side will report it. But they won't believe it because their side is not reporting it. So they'll take it as fake news. And it happens on both sides. And you know, as a person in the middle, which is where majority of Americans are. Majority of Americans are not conservatives. They're not Republican. They're just people. I guarantee you walk past 10 people. What are you, conservative? I don't know. Some shit I'm conservative about. Some shit I'm liberal about. I really don't care. I don't really take time to figure out what are you, Republican or Democrat? Most people ain't wouldn't tell you they're a Democrat or Republican. They'll just be like, I don't know. I don't remember what I put on that thing. Because most people are religious. And most people are open-minded. Most people will listen to something if it makes sense. And they have certain stuff that that no matter what you tell them, their personal experiences convinces them that that's not true, and they're not going to believe it because your scientific study doesn't doesn't disprove their lived experience. So when you sit there and you watch these people who are cheering now because the Team USA is losing games, like, please. You're cheering for other teams to beat somebody because they said that they don't like certain things that happen to them in America. So now you're cheering for an opposite team, and they're the people who lack patriotism. Mind you, the guys who are on the team are not the ones kneeling. Right? The NBA doesn't even kneel majority of the time. They just put Black Lives Matter on their thing. And I've said this 10 million times. It does not matter what you tell a stupid person. Right? That's why they're stupid. Right? A stupid person does not want to learn. Right? I think the difference between a genius and a dumb person is application of knowledge. right? There are scientists who know science front and back, but are the biggest fucking morons you'll ever come across. You know why? Because they can't apply the logic, the knowledge they gain. They can just remember it. So they'll regurgitate another person's words with complete accuracy, but then when you turn it around and ask them to speak from their own personal experience and what they actually believe, they don't really know it. They can't explain it or apply it in a way that will give you confidence that they actually understand what they're reading to you. This is speaking. And these people are so good. I see people do this in sports all the time. I heard the guy you're speaking, but the guy on Sports Center said exactly what you said. That's very, very weird, huh? You sound just like the guy. Because that's what they do. They don't know anything about basketball. They don't know anything about football. So it's not their logic. They're just listening to some guy on Sports Center and then coming out and regurgitating it like they're smart. You're not smart. You're just using the world around you to camouflage how ignorant you really are. And then they'll call you stupid. Oh, because you don't speak properly. Because you speak with a ghetto accent. Somehow you're stupid. But they're smart. They'll call LeBron James stupid. A guy who has been able to navigate his lot in life into a billionaire status. They'll call him stupid. They'll call Kanye West stupid. They're working at fucking Wellbaps Constructions where they're getting paid $17 an hour to beat when they're white with cancer and shit. Skin cancer prevalent all over the place. They're out there risking their life for $17 an hour. So what the hell does your speaking proper do for you? Not a damn thing. You just makes you feel like you're smarter than everybody else. Well, but I'm done with it. I really just wanted to speak. I need to drink some water, but I really just wanted to speak on this issue because I'm so tired of the Team USA assault. The world is catching up. It's bullshit. The world is not catching up. The NBA sent a bunch of shooters and undersized forwards, and so it's more of an even playing field. But even now, if the USA gets hot and those guys mesh together well, it's going to be a blowout every game. But the problem is that you got a bunch of guys who have never played in international play. So now they're having to get used to the style, and they're having to get used to being the third, fourth, fifth option. Kevin Durant's the only one that's playing his regular game because he's the number one option. Everybody else would be the third, fourth, and they're not used to that. A lot of them are used to having the ball in their hand. A lot of them are used to shooting off the dribble, and when they make a play, everybody's looking for them. But plays are now not being run for them, so now they got to find a way to get in where they fit in, and that's just not a good look. Anyway, please comment. Let me know what y'all think. Thumbs it up if you like it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. All right, y'all.